Welcome to the only wrestling podcast that covers the WWE developmental system from its inception to modern day. From OVW to MCW to HWA, Deep South, FCW, and much more. Hosted by Brian Asbury and Mortimer Blankenship. Now let's dive into what could have been, what should have been. Welcome to Developmentally Speaking.
Hey, before we get into this episode, can you do us a favor? Will you go ahead and subscribe to the channel?
Will you ring that notification bell?
And if you would, give this video a like. Well, enough of that mumbo jumbo. Let's get to the episode.
Let's talk developmentally speaking, glow up, and connecting through wrestling.
Hey everybody, I'm Morty.
And I'm Brian.
And on today's episode of Developmentally Speaking, we have with us, and it's a true honor, Al Snow. Al, how you doing?
I'm doing great. If I ran better, I'd be jealous of myself.
Awesome. So, this gets kind of redundant, but I tell everybody this is the first question we ask almost everybody that comes on any Developmentally Speaking podcast, and it's a very open question. What made you get into wrestling?
To be quite honest, I don't know. I always tell everybody that if they can answer that question, they probably shouldn't be in it.
All right.
So, mainly, developmentally speaking covers Ohio Valley Wrestling from the developmental standpoint, and we've reached out to everybody from the beginning to the end because we just have the highest respect for OVW and all the talent it produced and all of you guys down there. Because for the longest time, outside of Kentuckiana, nobody got to see OVW, so we got to witness, Mike Mondo, Matt Capitelli, Johnny Jeter, like everybody before, they went to the main roster. So we got to see the true magic that happened down there.
Yeah, and being from Seymour, Indiana, we knew who Rip was and who their trainer was, and OVW was our bread and butter. So we want more people to see some of the people that didn't get to do as much as they really should have. So that's what we're about.
Oh, that's great.
So how did you coming down to OVW first come about?
Well, that came about in the early 2000s. John Lordice spoke to me and wanted me to be head of the developmental program and offered me the opportunity to go to either Atlanta or Louisville, and I chose Louisville.
Awesome.
Well, so during your time there, can you just describe, the amount of talent that was down there that a lot of the world didn't get to see, that you guys worked with and helped develop before, even the ones that didn't make it to the main roster?
Well, that's always been the case here in OVW. There is, even to this day, there's so much talent that's down here, so much potential that's down here and involved in OVW. And it's really just a matter of, serendipity. They've got all the tools. They are here. They're acquiring the experience. They are getting more of the understanding. There was a much deeper roster here during the WWE days because we had, WWE sending talent here on a regular basis. But still to this day, it's been very rich proving ground for talent that just needs to get a platform to be seen.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. So, what do you think? I don't know how to word this. What do you think made OVW so special back in the even now? But I'm talking like back in the day when you had the guys that went into what they would call the ruthless aggression era. What made them so special? What did they have that other people didn't?
It was an operational territory, an opportunity for talent to get actual, real life hands-on experience in front of an audience on a consistent basis, tied to the concept that um, their their measurement of success was not about whether or not they got a great critical review, i.e., 1, 2, 3, or 4 or 5 star match, but whether or not they had asses and seats. That was what was the metric as to how well they performed.
Absolutely, and I think that's what's missing today is worrying about what the putting the asses in seats. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. Let's start talking about OVW today.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, what is your main role right now at OVW?
I'm the CEO of OVW, part owner of OVW, and head writer. I guess you could say that, the booker of OVW.
Fantastic.
I remember when you purchased OVW, it was news. It was all over the place because it's a big deal. You're one of the world's best trainers, and you've done the Al Snow Wrestling Academy pretty much everywhere. And now, I would assume your focus is Louisville. And OVW, like the Davis Arena, has always had something special. Now, you're in Louisville. How is the school today? I know that Doug Basham's down there, and it's had a resurgence since you've taken over, I would say.
Well, I hope so.
Yes.
We spent about 2.5 years developing and creating the fact that we are the only state accredited by the Office of Proprietary Education as a trade school for professional wrestling, sports entertainment, and broadcasting in the world. So, that in and of itself was a major accomplishment. Mm-hmm. And now we're just trying to build off of that.
And I mean, it's certainly working. Everyone knows what OVW is talking about OVW, and you can pretty much watch it anywhere now. You've really grown the reach for OVW outside of Louisville, and it's worldwide now.
Well, I believe so. I mean, in the United States, we have about 7, maybe 8 national partners, broadcast and cable, that gives us about 100 million homes reach internationally. With Sports International and Sky TV, about a 700 million home reach internationally. And then on FITE TV, we reach probably 6 million, I would say. 6-7 million.
That's amazing.
That's a lot more than Channel 7 back in the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. So, who are some of your up-and-coming stars that you're working with right now that people should keep an eye out for?
The entire roster, quite honestly. Really.
Awesome.
If I were to take 1, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, I would end up forgetting somebody, and I don't want to do that.
Absolutely.
I don't want to do a disservice. But seriously, like, everybody has the potential to be a star here.
You can tell the difference since you've taken over, and that's just me being honest. With the talent, it just seems like the atmosphere, the online presence, it's like night and day. You really have, breathe new air into this product, and everyone can see that. And it's amazing to see OVW still a household name all these years later. And that just shows all the hard work and stuff that you guys are doing down there, that people may have brushed off years ago, but like OVW never died. And now I feel like it's coming back bigger than ever.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
I really sincerely do. I mean, everyone here has put in a tremendous amount of work and effort, and to elevate themselves and OVW as well. At one point in time, OVW was like the standard, and it kind of dropped off. I'm not gonna deny that it kind of dropped off, but I'm trying to build that back up to where OVW is now the standard again.
And you're doing an amazing job at doing that, because Davis Arena is always one of my favorite places to go. I've went when it was developmental. I've went after. I actually took him for the first time this past January to the Rumble, and just being in that building is electric. You know what I mean? It
truly is
special.
You talk about like the Boston Gardens, Madison Square Garden. Hey, quite honestly, like the Cincinnati Gardens, Copa Hall in Detroit, the Spectrum in Philadelphia, Sportatorium in Dallas. I could go down the list, of big buildings where historic moments took place, and the Davis Arena, quite honestly, is could rank right up there.
Definitely one of them. Yeah, I would, with the Davis Arena, I'd even put like the Louisville Gardens and also just because I loved it so much, Kentucky Kingdom when they used to do the Summer Sizzler series there. Dude, those were some great shows back then. So what if you could explain a common work week for you now? What goes on
I'm sure it's nonstop.
I
don't know if I could put it into words. Quite
when
honestly,
do you have time to sleep?
When do you have time to sleep?
Not much.
No.
Not much. I get probably 3 to 5 hours of sleep a night, every day. The common work week it never ends. This is a monster. I mean, I gain so much more newfound respect for Vince McMahon every single day. I mean, I'm trying to operate this on this level, and I don't know how he functions. I don't know how he does what he does. The man's, just absolutely incredibly a machine, just insane that he's been able to build and maintain for decades, something the size and scope of WWE. I mean, it's incredible.
And you can definitely tell, you grind in and day out, because a lot of people will take professional wrestling for granted and think if they do one thing once a month, they're this, they're that. You're actually running a company. You're actually running a school. You're running a business. And that shines through and that shows, and I think that's why OVW has gained so much respect, and everyone still knows and they're learning that OVW is the place to truly learn and apply your craft, because it's not just like a weekend warrior thing. It is a lifestyle, I feel, down there.
I hope so. I sincerely hope so. I feel like OVW has been under a cone of silence for quite a few years, and within the wrestling community. And, I make a joke that, I've made a lot of dramatic things happen here over the last, since 2018. So, nobody would comment it. Nobody would say anything. Nobody would recognize it, acknowledge it. It got to the point where I was, joking that, I could go out on live TV tomorrow night and then football punt a baby out of the ring, and no one would say a word about it. No one would acknowledge it in any way. And it's interesting to see how the quote unquote wrestling journalists completely ignore what's going on here. And to a point, I'm glad. I'm grateful. I don't need the introspection or the inspection of people that don't really understand what it is that I'm trying to do. But at the same time, a little bit of acknowledgement would go a long way.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah, you got to, in that situation, you got to decide whether the good outweighs the bad. Really, it's because you don't want these people sitting behind their computer saying how they think your show should be ran. But if you have some that actually do agree, that's a good thing.
Everybody's got a damn opinion.
Everybody does. Yeah.
But no, you are moving mountains down there. I'm just a fan looking from the outside in, and I can tell a difference from developmental, after developmental, and until you took over. It is night and day. Online, everything. Like, you can tell you care. Like, with the talent cares now. It's not just like, oh, they're coming to do this tonight. It seems like people really want to be there. They want to come and learn. They want to wrestle for you. They want to wrestle for OVW.
I hope so.
They do.
I really do, because I put every ounce of myself into this, and I expect everyone else to do the same. If they cannot give me 100%, that I'm going to give them 100%, then we need to separate and go our own ways. They need to be as committed as I am.
Oh, 100% agreed.
Absolutely.
So tomorrow is the 1200 episode?
Yeah, just amazing. 1,200 episodes. Now, let me put that in perspective. Google Seinfeld, Google Friends, Google Gunsmoke, Google any television show you want to Google, and they don't come close. They don't come close to 1,200 consecutive weekly episodes of television.
Crazy.
That's amazing.
1,200 episodes. Because, didn't Gunsmoke hold that record for a while, and then it got beat by Raw, right? So, and you've beat Gunsmoke. That's all. That's a amazing achievement.
SmackDown's a week behind us.
That's crazy.
Keep in mind, Danny Davis didn't keep track of episodes, didn't number the episodes until WWE got involved. So we have from 1993 until WWE got involved in the 2000s.
That's amazing.
Wow. That's crazy. So, you being a wealth of knowledge,
I don't know about that.
when it comes to wrestling, and what a wrestler should do, what a wrestler should strive to be. If you could, and I know I like to condense things down. If you could take your knowledge and bring it down into one paragraph of advice for someone getting into the wrestling business, what would it be?
Two. First and foremost, be aware of what it is that you're selling, what it is that you want the audience to believe. Unfortunately, so many have lost track of that, thanks to the vocal minority. The people that are familiar with the wrestling business, thanks to the wrestlers that are in it. And familiarity breeds contempt. No ifs, ands, or buts. And for that audience, for that niche audience, the people that are familiar with it, you all enjoy what is being sold. But for the general audience, it always has been, and it always will be, who and why. So never forget, regardless of what the influence is, to sell who you are and why you are doing it, because that will appeal to the mass audience. It won't necessarily, it will eventually win over the niche audience, but it will definitely, without a question, appeal to the mass audience. And to prove that, baseball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, MMA. They all now do the very thing that wrestling was so good at, which was selling the who and the why, not the what. And we've become distorted, and we've become an aberration of what we used to be, simply because we're now being directed by the opinion of the niche audience, the vocal minority, that are familiar and therefore contemptuous of the very thing that they watch and enjoy. And that doesn't work. And secondly, even more importantly, anyone listening can do anything they want. Genuinely, sincerely. You can do anything you want, but you have to be honest with yourself. If you're willing to do, if you want to live a life that others don't live, are you willing? And this is where you got to be honest. Are you willing to do things that others won't do? If you're not, that's fine. That's okay. Okay? But be honest with yourself. Don't aspire to live a life that others don't live if you're not willing to do the things that others won't do.
That's why you're a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah. So eloquently put. Like, yeah, absolutely. I believe that would be a great place for us to end this interview. That's so perfect. That I think.
Well,
this
thank you.
That this will be great. Thank you for your time. We'll let you get back to your busy life and work style and everything that you do. And once again, thank you for coming on. It was a complete and total pleasure and honor.
Well, thank you guys very much. I appreciate the time, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll come down to OVW real soon.
Oh, I'd love to see you guys.
Awesome.
Please.
Have a great one. Thanks.
Take care.
Hey, everybody. It's Morty.
It's Brian.
And thank you for watching today's episode of Developmentally Speaking.
If you could, please click that subscribe button.
And don't forget to punch that bell icon so you can get notified whenever we go live or drop a new video every Monday. Well, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next
Developmentally Speaking.